Hi, this is Fitness Boyd with another installment on my P90X diet. In my first video, I implored you to go to livestrong.com to enter your physical information, and it would calculate calories necessary to consume to achieve weight loss goals or weight gain goals. The next thing you need to consider in a diet is macronutrient levels. In my P90X diet, I was consuming about 2,150 net calories per day, and my macronutrient levels were as follows: 40-40-20. 40% protein, 40% carbohydrates, 20% fat. Those were the three sources of nutrients that I was getting in my day, and those are the breakdown, that's the breakdown of percentages of those nutrient sources I was getting in my diet. Each macronutrient is important. Protein is very important, obviously, because that's what you use to build and conserve muscle. Your muscles need protein. That's primarily what they're made out of. Carbohydrates are also very important in one's diet. For purposes of fitness and exercise, you need to think about carbohydrates because that's your body's energy source. If your body's going to burn fuel, like a car burns gasoline, it needs carbohydrates. And you have two types of carbohydrates to consider: simple carbs, which are various forms of sugars and refined carbohydrates, and complex carbs. Those are brown rices, grains, whole grains, things like that. Simple carbs, like I mentioned, are things like sugar. They're usually white things like white pasta. Sugar's white, obviously. Refined carbs, things that are powdery, pretzels, things like that. Those are simple carbs. The thing you have to understand about simple carbs is your body creates an insulin response when you consume a simple carb. Your body needs insulin to break down the carb. The more insulin that's in your blood, the more your body, think of it this way, is focused on breaking down that simple carb and less on burning fat. Your body cannot digest simple carbs and burn fat at the same time. Why would your body burn fat if it's getting energy sources from easily digestible simple carbs? Sugar is very simple to digest. Your body sucks it up, it spikes your insulin, starts digesting sugar immediately. It's a quick way to get energy into your system. Eat a pixie stick, you're going to feel it, right? Because it's a boom, a sugar rush, a simple carbohydrate rush. What you need to do when you're dieting, because remember you're going to be at a calorie deficit, I've already talked about this from my previous video. When you're dieting, you need to be consuming complex carbs. Complex carbs do not create the same high insulin response. They are harder for your body to break down. They take longer to digest. Therefore, insulin isn't as necessary in the immediate when you're consuming complex carbs. So it doesn't create that same insulin response, which allows your body to continue burning fat while you're also digesting complex carbs. The other great thing about complex carbs in your diet are complex carbs are typically high in fiber. It's going to be things like breads, whole grain breads. It's going to be things like sweet potatoes, very fibrous types of foods, complex carbs. These are by far preferable as a carbohydrate source. Why is fiber important in your diet? You're going to be at a calorie deficit, and if your calorie deficit, if your calories are depleted, you're going to be hungrier. Fiber tends to make you feel fuller longer, so it will help fight hunger curbs. Finally, you need to have fat in your diet. You don't want to have a lot of fat because you want your body to look to your fat reserves as, again, a source of energy. But you do need fat, dietary fat, in your diet. Testosterone is regulated by fat. Same with estrogen and other hormones. Fat regulates hormones. Insulin is a hormone. Your body needs fat in order to regulate hormones. If you don't have testosterone, it's no secret you're not going to be able to build muscle, and that's one of the goals of working out, is to build muscle. So you do need some fat in your diet. There are differences of opinion on how much fat you need. In short, the fat I took in was 20%. I've heard you can go up to about 30% safely, consuming 30% of fat in a diet to maintain testosterone. you're not going to have an added benefit by consuming 40 or 50% fat in your diet. You're not going to get more testosterone out of 40 or 50%. That extra fat's just going to be stored as fat. About 30% is the maximum fat I think that's recommended for building muscle and maintaining testosterone. I don't think you want to go much lower than 20, maybe 15% fat in your diet. Again, my macronutrient ratios were 40% protein, which is very high by the way, 40% carbs, which is pretty low for maintaining exercise. I wouldn't recommend doing this for a long period. 20% fat. Now, just real briefly on these low-carb diets. Low-carb diets are great. What they do is they cause your body to start releasing ketones. Your body needs to get carbohydrates from somewhere. Again, carbohydrates are your energy source. Your brain needs them to think. Your body creates something called ketones from your fat in order to create carbohydrates. It's kind of like your body's own way to make sugar. It needs to do it somehow. And so if you're not consuming carbs in your diet, your body's going to look to your fat reserves to start creating energy because you got to get it somewhere. The problem with a low-carb diet is your body is creating enough energy to maintain its processes, but it's not creating an abundance of energy, and it's not doing it quickly. So if you're doing things like physical activity, exerting yourself, working out, on a low-carb diet, it's going to be hard to really bring the same intensity to the gym. So that's something to be aware of. Anyway, that's a little background on macronutrient levels. So now you know that in my P90X diet, I consumed 2,150 net. Again, remember, I was consuming more than that on days I was exercising, but net 2,150 calorie intake. I was tracking that on livestrong.com. Macronutrient levels, I was hitting 40, 40, 20. And there are also calorie implications for what types of macronutrients you're consuming. Point is, go to livestrong.com. It will calculate the percentage of macronutrients that you're consuming in your diet when you type in the foods that you eat. So those are the two primary steps to achieving dietary success when doing a workout program. If you want to keep watching, the next video I'm going to touch on is what I actually ate in my P90X diet. Thanks for watching. Comment, subscribe, like, and share this with your friends. Thanks for your time and have a good day.